Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. We're gonna do another quick and dirty video today. Those of you that have viewed some of my recent past videos might recall a couple videos ago I covered the Gundam card game box sets that came with the new Gundam Assemble miniatures. And in that video I'd intimated something to the effect that the miniatures were the main draw for me, and I didn't really care about the cards all that much, even though they were kind of neat. So naturally, following up on that, what I did was go buy an entire booster box of the entire Newtype Rising set. So naturally, what I did was go buy an entire booster box of the new Newtype Rising card set. And that is what we're going to be opening today. And we'll get right to that now. Alright, let's get this show on the road. Open some booster packs. Got 24 of these bad boys in here with 12 cards each. I think plus one. I think the plus one is a resource card. I think it's been about a decade since I opened up a proper booster pack, but I've had some good luck in the past. I think when I was in elementary school, the first booster pack I ever opened up was a Yu-Gi-Oh card pack. And I pulled a foil Rainbow Dragon out of that. So maybe I'll have some of that luck from my child days. If oh boy, I don't remember them being this difficult to... Here I am, making things difficult. Zaku Mariner. Duo's Leo, so that's a bit of a... Another Gundam. I think that's different art than the ones from the starter set. Maybe different abilities, I'd have to look. Got a solar array or a colony laser. Gun tank. I remember this is the same stats, I think, as the gun tank from the starter set. It has the same ability at the very least. And one of our alt art resource cards. The Kshatriya. Yeah, about fumbled pronouncing that one. We can get those guys into sleeves and then be on to the next one. Just real quick before we move on to the second pack, because I didn't catch it until I was starting to put into sleeves. The logo that we picked up in the first pack is foil. I don't know how well it's being picked up on the camera, but it's not one of the fancy textured ones, but it's a nice shiny card. And our Duo Maxwell looks to be foil as well. It's a little harder to spot since it doesn't have any like beam or light effects going on like the logo. Have to keep a more careful lookout for the next 23 packs. Alright, get those out of here. Pack 2, let's go. Jeez. These card packs are pretty tough. Got ourselves a Z Zulu. Another assault on Torrington Base / Kirk's. One of those command pilot hybrid cards. Another Gundam. Rid of Marsenyas, so be useful maybe if we pick up a Delta Plus or a Banshee. That's what he'd go to. Yeah, the art on these is nice as always. Got a Shenlong Gundam. It's not my favorite of the Wing Gundams, but typical draw card. Another Launcher Strike. Another Solar Array. Here we go. Gundam Heavy Arms. Now that is one that I really like. And speak of the devil, we got a Delta Plus, which, interestingly, let's get the link condition isn't a pilot name. The pilot has to have the Earth Federation trait. So Riddy does have that, so he could link, but potentially, like I think like Amuro Ray has the Earth Federation trait, so potentially you could stick Amuro Ray in the Delta Plus and fulfill the link requirements. And I don't know if you can pick it up, the Delta Plus is foil. Nice and shiny, glow on the beam effect in its eye. And this one's clearly a special one, so we're just brushing past it for a second. We got a token card, is what it looks like. Yeah, instead of a resource. So that's interesting. So the +1 to the pack can be a resource or a token. That's probably triggered by some card in the set. But right here we got one of them fancy, what I was talking about, the textured foil cards. Which, this seems even fancier than the ones that had come in the starter decks. It's really nice. The line art on the characters is raised texture with this kind of textured foil background. Really nice production value on these cards. But I'm gonna take a moment to get all these into sleeves, and then we'll be on to the next one. All right, on to the next. Let's go. Come on. Bigger Pente, which from Mercury, another Rid of Marsenyas, Underground Desert Base. Yeah. So this is a Wing Magnet Corp, so it'd be neat if we got a Sandrock in here. My Gundam lore's failing me. I don't remember who Deguza Machel is. Got our Wing Gundam. Another Naval Bombardment. Sword Strike Gundam. A different kind of Gira Zulu than you find in the Zeon's Rush starter deck. So this is the first card I've seen that lets you get more EX resources outside of if you go second. starting the game. Gundam, classic Zeon mobile suit, a foil Char Zaku 2, different art than comes in the starter deck, I think, and a fancy Gundam. Again with the that textured foil. That's clearly, I think this is probably unique to the starter deck because that's the same art, or starter deck for this. This is unique art for this set because that's the same as the Newtype Rising pack art. So that's cool. And our +1 card is a token for Char Zaku 2, which I think you get a couple of these token cards in the Zeon's Rush starter deck. Alright, I'm going to put those cards in the sleeves and we'll do 4. Also update, I remembered who Daguzo Mackle is. He's from Unicorn Gundam. Sacrifices himself to save Benager while they're investigating Laplace's box. Anyways, I was just looking at the art and the salute reminded me of who he was. Alright, number 4, let's go. Another Zaku Mariner. Another Dirka. Another Underground Base. Another Wing Gundam. Side 7, so that's a new base. So that's a bit of a sad pilot card. He dies. So does she. The Bjarlant Custom. Absolutely rocking Zeon Remnant shit at Torrington. We got our Death Scythe. I think we just need Sandrock. That's the only Operation Meteor Gundam we're missing at this point. We got Salem Moss in foil. And Noins Ares in standard foil. And we got another one of those resource cards, this time with Ariel on it. Alright, you know the drill. Sleeves, then next pack. Alright, here we go. Pack 5. I think maybe, we got 2 Dirka Elfmans. Maybe we can pick up a Buster Gundam. Okay, we got the lead or the Mackinac Corps to go with our desert bases. G-Sky Easy. Getting a little... those different combinations of flying Gundam pieces that appear midway through the original Gundam series. Another Side 7. The Humble Dop. Somehow that flies, I don't know. We got a Hybrid Order and Pilot. Another Elon Saris. We've got Benager, so we need a Unicorn Gundam. The I swear I know how to pronounce that. The Kshatriya. Another Bjarlant, a Buku. And there's our Unicorn Gundam in foil. Very nice. And Zaku 1 Sniper That would go with my brain. We picked up the pilot that this would go with. Though, this is another one where it links with anyone with the Xeon trait, not just a named character. So that's interesting. And our plus one is the Unicorn Gundam themed resource card. It seems like every one of these packs so far, unless I've just gotten really lucky, you're guaranteed to get 2 foil cards. It's just whether or not you get one of the really special textured ones. We'll be right back with pack 6, I think. Alright, pack 6, let's go. Anksha. I don't remember what you're from. Earth Federation, so Universal Century, but I don't remember. Someone can yell at me in the comments that they like. Gundam Ilfrith. Kigali's Skygrasper. Gog. Another C Zulu, another Assault on Torrington. Got Izak, so we need a dual Gundam. Another Sword Strike, Gelgoog. I'd heard in the original series that the reason why a lot of the Xeon suits keep getting increasingly ridiculous names is because Tomino noticed the execs didn't care, so he just kept upping the ridiculousness to see if they'd say anything. Apparently they didn't. We got... That's some cool art of the Xeon Remnant units that would attack Torrington. Gundam This is gonna be awesome. Normally I edit these out, but you're just gonna get my verbal mishaps raw. Gundam Ferrect. And also foil. And Gundam Ariel in foil. Nice and shiny. And we have a Grandpa Gundam themed resource card. Alright, be back with the next pack. 7, I think. Alright, here we go. Next pack. M1 Astray. Din. Zaku 2. A little different art than the Xeon's Rush ones. Dryzen. It's like a fancy Dom. Makuve. So we need a Gyan for him to be a pilot for. Ball. Another alternate Gyaradoga. This one with the big guns. Gamau. So we got our Zaft base. Securing the supply lines again. Zanzibar. Another Xeon base. There's our Sandrock. So we've got a copy, at least one copy now of all the Operation Meteor Gundams. Choo-Choo's Demi Trainer from Witch Mercury, and our +1 is Char's Zaku 2 as a resource card. Alright, sleeves, then next pack. Also, because I forgot to point it out, our Sandrock and Choo-Choo's Demi Trainer were our foil cards from that pack. Alright, next pack. I've been losing count. This might be 8, I think. There we go. Got ourselves another Shenlong Gundam, a Rizel, or Rezel, however you pronounce it. I've heard it both ways. A Jagan, very nice. Regular Sky Grasper. Another Ilfrith. Another Din. Another First Contact. Gundam area with the flight unit. Zex is Leo. It's interesting because it calls out it's Zex's Leo, but you can link with any pilot with the Oz trait. Another Buku. Another foil Char Zaku 2. So we got 2 of those now. And appropriately, we've got, we'll get this out of there, we got another one of the Fatum double O's as our +1. But we've got the textured foil Char's Gelgoog. And this is just like the previous couple of texture ones we picked up. It's really nice, and I noticed it's got an interesting effect. The Gelgoog is doing the signature thing where Char spins the beam Naginata around, and I don't know if the camera's picking it up, but the texture of the foil is in a spiral following how the Naginata's swinging, so that's really cool. Let's see if the camera can pick that up at all. So that's cool to see. Maybe if I don't put this in a deck or something, I can put it in a sleeve and stand it up next to my model of Char's Gelgoog. Alright. Sleeves and then pack 9, if my count's correct. Alright, pack 9, let's go. Another standard Sky Grasper, Pisces. Those don't get a lot of time in the spotlight in Gundam Wing, so that's neat. 13th Tactical Training Sector. So that's another Witch from Mercury base. Rasid's Maganak. So we got Rasid earlier, so pilot to go with. And interestingly, Nicole is a hybrid command pilot card. So we're still searching for a buster and a duel for Izak and Dirka. So now we need a blitz. And we've gotten several versions of Strike and no Kira. Mining Astrode Palau. So that's a Neo Zeon Stronghold, another base card. First Contact, another Gundam Aerial with the flight unit, another Zex's Leo, another Buku, New Orders, so this is another foil card. It's kind of hard to tell with the art, but and this is the same card, the same, I believe, unicorn we picked up earlier, but it's all art with the textured foil. And that is, I'm not sure, I'm even having adjust the light. It's a complicated pattern. I wonder how well the camera's even picking it up. Let me dig up the regular foil unicorn we'd gotten earlier, and we can compare them side by side. Okay, yeah, so from the point of view of stats-wise, these are both the same card, but as you can see, they are very different in appearance. So that's cool to see. And you can see the rarity above. This one's R, so rare, and this one's R+. Very cool. And our +1 wasn't anything special. It's just a standard EX base token. We'll get these all sleeved up and move on to number 10. All right, next pack, number 10. I think something like that. Crack this bad boy open. We got another Pisces. First up, Pisces, Gules Delanza, regular Strike Gundam, still no Kira. Another Testing Sector, another Kigali Skygrasper, another Maganak, another Zanzibar, Loto. Don't remember what you're from. A Daryl Balde, Kusanagi. So we got a. No, it's not our first Gundam Seed base, but it's our first as protagonist base since we got the Gamma out. Strike Rouge in foil. And Citizens Take a Stand in foil. And we got another Char Zaku 2 resource card. Alright. Sleeves, the next pack. Alright. Number 11, let's go. Come on! There we go. Got ourselves another Gundam, another Rita Marsenyas, Naval Bombardment again, a third Shenlong. The box heard me saying it was my least favorite Operation Meteor Gundam. Skygrasper, another Pisces, an Adzam. We could potentially put our General Makube in the Adzam, but I'd like a Gyan. Unless the Gyan's not part of the set. We got Wu Fei, so it's a pilot for our 3 Shenlong Gundams. Another Rikdom. We got Andrew Waldfeld here. I think we pulled a couple of Lagos, so he'd be good for that. And we got Kigali in foil for all those Skygraspers of hers, and also the Strike Rouge. Though the Strike Rouge is keyed to her orb keyword rather than her specifically. And in our textured LR rarity, I have to learn what's more rare, R+ or LR. Is Wing Gundam 0. Very nice. I am impressed by these extra rare alt art versions of various cards. And we got another Kshatriya resource card. Alright. You know the drill. Sleeves the next pack. Alright, pack number 12. Here we go. Regular old Zaku 2 again. Goon. I think that's the first one of those we picked up. Demi Garrison. Another GOG. Another Nickel hybrid command card. Still don't have any of the Zaft Gundams. Gyaradoga. Another gun tank, just not foil. So it seems like the standard foily ones you get are the same cards, and the textured ones have the alternate art. The Gamau, Kshatriya, G Fighter. I don't think we've picked up a G Fighter yet. We have the G Sky. The Witch and the Bride. So earlier, the first of the textured ones we picked up was that and had different art. So we can go ahead and get that to compare really quick as soon as I find it. There it is. Yeah, same card, just with different art. So there's our first foil pull, and almost like they are themed together, we've got the LR textured Gundam aerial rebuild, and we got a Wing Zero resource card behind them. We'll put that over there. Yeah, really nice texturing. There's like a shockwave effect in the texturing on this one. Again, I'm not really sure how well that picks up on the camera. Trying my best to show it. Yeah, these cards are really cool. Well, that was a nice little punctuation for the halfway point. We got another 12 to go, so we'll be right back with 13 after some sleeving. Okay, 13, let's go. We're on the back half of this booster box. We're opening it up with the Dryson. Stark Jagan, it's the first one of these we've seen. Some Mistly goodness. Cancer. Another one of the aquatic mobile suits from Gundam Wing that doesn't get a lot of time in the spotlight. Gallus K. A Goof. Another Makuve. I'm starting to wonder if he goes with the Barzam or if there is even a Gyan in this set. I don't know the set list. Another Death Scythe. We like the Death Scythe. That art is still cool. Another Gundam Aerial with the flight unit. Another Andrew Waldfeld. We got our first Zaft Gundam. We got the Blitz in foil finally. Very nice. And we got the Perfect Strike, also in foil. So I think we actually have every version of the Strike there is, and still no Kira Yamato. And as if it's teasing us, I mentioned Kira Yamato, we get the Freedom-themed resource card. Alright, 14 coming up next. Alright, next pack. Got ourselves another testing sector, another Mackinac, another Nickel, another mining asteroid, another Anksha. Still skipping to mind what series you belong to. A Mistral. keeping in mind what series you belong to. But I think that's the first time we've picked that up. Show of Resolve again. Another Launcher Strike. Been a while, but we got, I think this is our third one of these. Another Gundam Heavy Arms. And we got the Shamblo in foil. Big ol' mobile armor. Absolutely tearing it up at Torrington. And we got Choo Choo from G-Witch in foil. Looks like she is one of the hybrid command/pilot cards. And we got another Unicorn Gundam resource card. Alright, keeping it rolling. Sleeves to the next pack. Alright, opening again. Our third or fourth Ilfrith, I think. Another Din. Fourth Pisces. Another Delanza. Another Strike. Another Testing Sector. That's our third Gun Tank. Another Gamma. Another Kshatriya. Another G-Fighter. And we got Loni Garvey with the hybridized with the Command Extreme Hatred. So there's our pilot for the big ol' mobile armor in foil, and we got our gun cannon in foil. And I think this might be different. Get this freedom out of the way. This might be different from the gun cannon in the Heroic Beginning starter deck, just because I think that one links with Kai Shiden, and this one you just need the white base team trait. Alright, gonna get these in sleeves real quick, and then I'll be back. Alright, next pack. Oh, you bastard. Come on. Alright, we're going this way. We're going this way. Got side 7. I think that's our third one. Another Elon Saris. Another Anksha. It's our third one. Still don't remember where you're from. Ilfrith. Kigali Skygrasper. Another Gog. Second Adzam. Another Wufei. Rick Dom. Another Andrew Waldfeld. And another Blitz. No Buster or Duel. Not to mention, we haven't seen anything of Atherin or Aegis. But Blitz is neat, very stealthy. And Perfect Strike in foil. And here's our first of one of the foil resource cards. In Char's Zaku 2, which I like. The first gunplay I built was Char's Zaku 2, so this is really cool to see. You got the got like this hex pattern texturing behind the Zaku. I think we pulled one or two of the standard ones. There's the standard one. Yeah, it's all same card, just all nice and shiny and textury and foily. So that's cool. Cool. I had seen online that this was a thing with some of the resource cards, but cool to actually get one. I'm gonna get these guys sleeved up and we'll do the next pack. All right, next pack. We have like a whole squadron of Kigali Skygraspers at this point. I lost count of how many of them we have. I think this is at least our fourth Recedes Maganek. Another Zaku, another Goon, Demi Garrison, Gog, 3rd Death Scythe. So that's still cool artwork. I think that's our 4th aerial with the flight unit. It's like our 3rd or 4th Andrew Waldfeld. And we have our Banshee that we talked about so long ago. And also, it's not linked to Riddy, it's linked to Cyber Newtype, which I don't know that Riddy had the Cyber Newtype trait. I know he had the Earth Federation trait. Let me find a copy of Ensign Riddy. Yeah, Riddy doesn't have the Cyber Newtype trait that I can see. So I wonder if there's a different version of Riddy Marsenyas that is supposed to go with the Banshee? Or what? It's interesting. And we got Marita Cruz to go with the umpteen Kshatriyas we fold. And now it's definitely teasing us because I was talking about how we can't pull a dual Gundam when we got one as a resource card. I'm gonna get these guys sleeved up and then we'll get the next pack. Here we go, next pack. Yep, we're going this way again. A Zoot. Spoilers. I didn't look, did you? Knocking my cards over. Zoot. Zoot, 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 zoot. I don't remember you. You say Zaf, so I know you're from the Celestial or the Cosmic era, but I don't remember you. Got Daguza again, another G-Sky, another Humble Dop, an Astray, Mining Asteroid. We've got like 4 Wu-Feis. Mid-air modifications. That's a new one we haven't picked up yet. Another Heavy Arms, another Daryl Balde, a second foil Blitz Gundam, and we have the Alt Art Fancy Gundam Death Scythe. So that's really neat. LR rarity. Very nice. It looks like the texturing in the back is kind of wavy and like it's mimicking the smoke that's in the background of the art. Very nice. And we got our Wing Zero resource card again. Alright, rolling right along. Sleeves, then the next pack. Alright, here we go, next pack. Another Nicole. This is 3 or 4 now. Gyaradoga, Dryzen, Stark Jagan, Cancer, Gallus K, Loto. Still not remembering where you're from. Michaelis, that's from G-Witch. Gelgoog. Another Kusanagi. And Fortress Defense with Dobel Zabi as pilot. It's kind of a nice, it's one of the standard foil ones, but it's a nice looking one. Not that they're not all nice looking, but I wonder if there's a big Zom in here for him to pilot. And we got our Alt Art Kshatriya. It's really neat. It's got like a glass shattering pattern effect going on behind it. Get this resource card out of the way and give me a moment to dig up a one of the standard Kshatriyas. Not there. There it is. And, well, it looks like I spoke too soon because the Kshatriyas we were picking up before aren't the same as this one stats-wise. So I'd have to do a little more digging to see if I have the standard version of this Kshatriya. But it seems there's two different versions of it in this set. So that's interesting. But for right now, we're going to try and keep it moving. And I'll get these sleeved up and then we'll move on to the next one. Alright, this is number 20. We're closing in on the end. A Rezel, Life Strike, Demi Garrison, Stark Jagan, Gallus K, Goof, Gyul Cheturk. That's our first one of him we've pulled. Another Ezak, still no Dual Gundam, Show of Resolve, second Gyul. And there's my answer to my question from the last pack. We got a big Zom for our Dozel Zabi. Really nice art, firing its all-round mega particle cannon. Very cool. And also first one we've pulled, Deep Devotion. And it's a hybrid command pilot card with Noin as its pilot. We got another Freedom Gundam resource card. Get these guys sleeved up and we'll move to the next one. Alright, it's the countdown to the end. Pack 21. The path to victory or defeat. This is the first one of these we've gotten. Duos Leo. Another Bigger Pente, receives orders. Covert Operative, another Mistral, still don't remember where you're from. Another Xeno, Michaelis. Second Benager we've gotten. Another Heavy Gear Doga. We have an alternate Shenlong Gundam. Either an alternate version or maybe like the Kshatriya where it's a, or I should say either alt art or like the Kshatriya where it was just a different card altogether. It's definitely different art either way. Let's see, we can dig up. No, it is like the Kashatra we had pulled. There's two different versions of it in this set. So where this is the common one, that's the rare one. So that is interesting to know. Not all Shenlongs are built equally. And behind it, we finally have our dual Gundam. Still looking for a Buster. And anything to do with Athranzala, but we have a dual. Interestingly, it doesn't need, we've seen this a few times, it doesn't need Izak Jewel for its link trait. It just needs someone with Zaft. So we could hypothetically fill link requirements with, like, Andrew Waldfeld. And we have our dual Gundam resource card. Alright, there's still hope. We could pick up a Buster. So let's keep moving. Alright, had to take a quick break because the phone was dying, but we're on to 22. Got ourselves a Goof, another Makuve, Signs of a Revolutions. First time we pulled this one. Path to Victory or Defeat, another Ball, another Z Zulu, Zex is Leo again. Nail Argama, first one of these we've pulled. Feeling Affection, another Adzam, Gundam Aerial in foil, and there's our Gyan. It's our second foil card. And Grandpa Gundam is our +1. Alright, keep it rolling. Let's sleeve those and do the next pack. Alright, closing in on the end, pack 23. Opening up with a Jagan. Got Gilles de Lanza again, another Goon, another Gyaradoga, another Cancer, Signs of a Revolution again, second Nail Argama, another G-Fighter, Mid-Air Modifications, another Gira Zulu, Battle of Aces in foil, first time we picked this one up, and a legendary rare version of the Unicorn 2 Banshee. And interesting, this is different than the previous Banshee that would link with any Cyber Newtype. This one links with Marita Cruz instead. So that's interesting. Again, nice card with that nice weird foil texturing with like a light burst effect coming from the energy weapon. And we got Zaku 2 as our Zaku 2 token as our +1. Gonna sleeve those up and then bring us home for the end. Alright, this is it. Final pack, number 24. See what's going on. We have a strong opening with that Earth Federation suit that I don't know where it's from, the Anksha. Mistral, also don't know where it's from. Like a 5th Shenlong Gundam. A Rezel, Jagan, another Skygrasper, Zanzibar, Lodo, Garibaldi, Kusanagi, Noines Ares, and we never got the Buster, even though we got 3 Dirkas, but we got the legendary rare version of the Duel. And this one, unlike the rare Duel we got earlier, this one you need to link with Izak for the link requirement. So, I think that is a cool way to wrap this up with one more of these very nice textured foil cards. And of course, NEX resource cards are +1. And before we close up the video, just a real quick recap of our most exciting polls. And we got the Alt Art R+ Rarity Unicorn Gundam in Unicorn mode and The Witch and the Bride, which are really neat cards. And then a smattering of the legendary rares of Grandpa Gundam, the Death Scythe, Char's Gelgoog, Banshee, Dual Gundam with the Assault Shroud, Kshatriya, which I have figured out how to pronounce smoothly by the end of the video, the Aerial Rebuild, Wing Zero, and of course, our shiny resource card. And that was the opening of my booster box of the Newtype Rising set for the Gundam card game. I had a lot of fun doing that. It's been many years since I've opened up a booster pack, so opening up that many back to back to back was a treat. And I think we got some pretty good cards out of it, though it's kind of early in the game's life cycle and I'm not super in tune with it yet. And I'm not sure of the drop rates, so I don't know if the ratio of legendary rares and rare pluses that we got out of this box is below or above average, but I like the cards that I got regardless. Though I still am bothered that we never picked up a Buster Gundam for all those Dirka Elfmans we picked up. In the future, maybe do a deck building video, though I'm not sure what deck I might build out of the cards we got, though something more cohesive might come if I cannibalize the 2 starter decks I have, so we'll see about that. And I'm continuing work on that second diorama I had mentioned in the Death Scythe video. So, until next time, later.